Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, I'm very excited about today's guest.
Me too.
It's Rhea Butcher. We're gonna introduce him in a second. I got this thing in the mail. It says Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. It looks that I assume I'm in trouble. It's never like, good job. Every year you're on top of your shit. Thank you.
Totally. I see that and I'm just like, I didn't open it for like 3 days the last time I saw it. I'm just like, I can't, I'm not ready for this. I got to like smoke weed and then have one prepared for after I read it. I don't know what's happening.
So I open it up and it goes, oh, it's from the White House in Washington, that one.
Even worse.
But then it starts talking about the stimulus check. And I'm like, is there a new stimulus check? No, it is this. This is a roller coaster of a letter and it's only bad news at the end. So you got yours. That's good. That's the whole letter.
But why are they spending stamps on that? Wait, do they have to pay for stamps?
No, we do. Yeah. We pay for this stamp.
Right.
As you know, you got $600 at this time, then $1,400. Your total was $2,000. My name is Joseph R. Biden. Look, you don't have to be so dramatic. I know. I was pleased to get it. Thank you. Oh my God.
They should do like, you know, how when people send out wedding invitations, they have a little like a thing to send it back. So right. they should send it like, hey, by the way, remember you got the stimulus check, and then a thing for us to send back to say thank you. Do you thank us a lot or thank us very much?
Right. Here's a letter. This is from Kathy. Hi, Keith and Chemda. I'm a 27-year-old who has been listening to your show since I was 16.
Oh, illegal.
You've been my, quote, parents in my head for a long time. When my own parents would drive me crazy, I would hide in my room and listen to you. I did that with Appetite for Destruction, so I understand the feeling.
I did that with Skid Row.
Yeah.
I remember crying and listening to Skid Row.
I remember it was Christmas. My family's putting the tree up, and from Columbia House, I got Appetite for Destruction. I'm listening with headphones, you know, the orange ones, under the covers, and I'm like, this is something new. Fuck you, bitch. And I'm like, this is crazy.
And then I'm listening to 18 in Life. And I'm like, I can't wait until I'm 18. I'll take 18 in Life. Right. What am I doing here?
Accidents will happen. Last year, I came out to my mom. I was so nervous, but I kept you in my head. Chemda made it through her coming out, even though she lost her parents. And I picture Keith would be saying, fuck your parents. You're an adult now. You gave me the strength to start the conversation. Say we give good advice, but just say it different. As it turns out, my mom had no issues with me being a lesbian. Her only regret seemed to be that she had somehow come off like I can't be open with her. Our
That's
relationship
like the best case scenario, right?
Yeah. Our relationship has since gotten stronger, and I have the two of you to thank.
I mean, I can't say I relate, but you know.
But I could say you're welcome. Thank you for your bravery, for making, well, I didn't have to come out, you know, but you're welcome, for making being me okay, and for helping me voice what I needed and wanted to my mom. My dad is dead, so I'll never find out what he would have thought, but I get to be out with my mom. That's life-changing. I love you. I love the show. Keith and the Girl, VIP for life. Kathy.
That's nice. Oh my God, congrats. I love that. I think we have to remember that that's an option of a response, you know,
right.
Like it almost doesn't dawn on us that like, this might not be a thing for our conservative parents sometimes. I don't know. But then, you know what? Your mom blamed herself. I blame your mom too. She should have made it clear.
There you have it. Dear Keith and the Girl, what was the nicotine alternative you had on your show to stop smoking? I didn't write the name down. Thanks, Sarah. Now, you know what? Fuck it. Don't rewind. I say write a letter in. So I'll tell you right now. It's Lucy, Lucy, Lucy Nicotine. Here's the pitch. The company's founded by Caltech scientists, former smokers looking for a better, cleaner nicotine alternative, tobacco alternatives that don't blow balls. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine, comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, pomegranate, lozenges of cherry ice flavor. That has 4 milligrams of nicotine, and they taste great. So it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes. Come on. Unplug your vape. Throw out your... You ever see those vapes? I tried that. I tried it for a while. The goo is... Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That's a quote from them. They say, "Get the fuck out of here. Use Lucy. Throw out your dip." You ever see that? Someone said that. I was in a bar once and they're spitting out that dip. And I just happened to look over. I don't stare, but it's, something caught your eye, like somebody breastfeeding. You're like, okay. And then they go, "What are you looking at?" I don't know. What am I looking at? Come on. Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. That's the real deal. That's what you want to talk about. And they got delivery down. Comes right to your door. It's the future. Go to Lucy, LUCY.co. Use the promo code KATG. Get 20% off all products on your first order. Gums, lozenges, whatever they got. You see it, whatever. If they put something up by accident, there's a deal on it. Lucy.co. Promo code is KATG. Here's a little thing I have to read. Warning. This product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. I think that's why we're talking about something different. But anyway, that's the warning. Lucy.co. Be sure to enter the promo code KTG. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are. Fantastic. They've been on Adam Ruins Everything with our pal Adam Conover. Conan, of course. The albums are great. First one's called Butcher. They have a dog. Tiny, but packs a punch. New album is called Pull Yourself Up by Your Bootleg. The podcast is called Three Swings. It's about baseball, but not really. They're confused where they're at and they talk about their personal life. I hate baseball and love this podcast. Rhea Butcher. Hello, Rhea.
What's up? I had mute on because
how come?
My dog all of a sudden silent through the letters, which I'm glad. It was good timing. Silent through the beginning. And then as soon as you were like, all right, he was like, now's my moment.
What dog knows?
He does.
Yeah.
He's very sensitive.
Let me ask you this about baseball.
Yes.
Off, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 step. I call them step. First of all, can we do something about the dog?
I can mute while you're talking, and then he's gonna go back to bed. There's just a truck, and then it'll be.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't. I didn't know a truck.
No. I feel you. I'll mute, and then I'll work the mute.
Okay. The dog just bumped the mic. Let me ask you this about baseball. I have 3. I call them step kids. Me and my girlfriend have been together 3 years so far. They're into baseball. I know it's because of the dad. Is it healthy to tell kids about baseball because it seems that they knew about baseball because the dad doesn't know how to communicate? It's that kind of talking where you're facing forward, right? So now the 13-year-old, his team will lose, and he's, to me, irrationally angry. Now, if he never taught the kids about the importance of this, they wouldn't be psychopaths at such a young age. Rhea Butcher.
Yes. So you're asking me, like, should we invent a time machine to remove baseball from these children's lives?
Should you have to be 18? Should you need ID and put in a computer slot? New TVs are amazing. They're computers themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think you should have to read a warning every time somebody watches baseball. It says baseball is an addictive substance. It's a chemical that alters the brain.
Who got you into baseball?
My grandmother got me into baseball. My grandmother and my mom, but it was just kind of like a family that we were just into baseball. It's just sort of on, and not in any, like, we weren't specific fans necessarily of any. It wasn't out of fandom. It was just like a love of the game and the pace of the game. Although we did watch a lot of Atlanta games because it was the 90s. Right. So
it's so America. My parents, when they came here, I got here when I was 4 years old, right? So what I see in hindsight is a lot of the stuff that my parents did was like, Americans do this. Let's go try this out. And so before we even spoke English, we went to a baseball game. And I don't remember much of my childhood, but I remember a little bit. We were lost. Nobody knew what was happening, including my father. We'd never been there before. There's a lot of people, randomly all exploding at the same time. And then we saw a wave coming and we're like, what is this?
Watch out.
Yeah. I got so excited over that. All I know from baseball is I wait for a wave and that's what happens. I don't even think we stayed to the end. It was just unrecognizable.
Yeah, and I mean that's to me the beauty of baseball is that it can literally be I wait for the wave and then I leave. Who cares, you know? Like
I guess I wouldn't mind so much if maybe you get somebody into that sport, but don't teach them how horrible it is because they're that means the dad must have had a fit when the team lost.
Sure,
and
yeah.
And if you happen to like a bad team, don't put that on your kid. I kind of know somebody that has a newborn, already got the newborn a Jets jersey. Like, why are you doing that?
I know. Don't put any children in a Cleveland Browns jersey. Like, don't do that to a child, Like, do not do that.
Right. And by the way, speaking of, did you follow Cleveland because you're from Ohio?
Somewhat. I'm from Akron, so I feel like there's a lot of Cleveland Browns fans in Akron, but my family was baseball fans, and for whatever reason, we just really did not like football, and so I just sort of picked that up and never really. But I will get on board with it because there is a beauty to having a losing team or just having that history, which is just who cares, And then when the fact that they made the playoffs was people were. It was just like Major League. It's Major League is not about winning the World Series. Major League is about winning the season,
right?
Winning the last game and making it to the playoffs. And in some ways that's hey, that's a pretty good bar to set. Just do your best, So I am grateful for that.
I guess it's sort of people make fun of one-hit wonders, but it's hard to write a song and they hit.
Yes.
How many times do you have to hit to be a hit? Oh my God.
Yeah. And a one-hit wonder is one more than zero. So why not?
And it most likely means your hit was number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the whole world for a year.
And it's still in our brain. If somebody
and we're still thinking about it.
Exactly.
What's the story with the Cleveland things? Are they debating about getting rid of it? Is it rhetoric? When Washington Redskins changes their name to Washington Football Team, and they literally do that, which is insane to see that on a field. Is the baseball team thinking anything?
It's funny. I was just talking to somebody last weekend about this, and also boy, what a situation I've set up for myself to always be talking about this. But I think Cleveland, you said rhetoric, I think there's an amount of PR that people are realizing they can get out of playing, both sides of the thing. I think the Washington football team is doing that. They're by not changing it to anything. They're playing the sort of social justice warriors, right, or, these overly PC people. Well, okay. So so people can still sort of,
they should be called the Washingtons. What can we say?
Yeah. It should be something else, but they're not doing that. And so I think Cleveland is doing that too, where they sort of just say they're going to do it. And they write up the nice PR thing, and then they don't actually do anything. And they just keep going, right. So that's why I'm just I have no love for this. They also let a once in a generation talent go for not that much money, and so I'm just this is a terrible organization. I don't want to root for a team that does this. You would know this. I don't, but I recognize Chief Wahoo just looks offensive, almost like they say you'll recognize porn when you see it, right? Sure, yeah. I know it's offensive. What's the history of that? Because it's not good, right? No, what's interesting and part of why I started talking about this. What history of anything is good? Sorry. Now I'm just there's good and bad for everything, Hemda. But for me, something that's interesting is I have to admit that as somebody who grew up in that area and with that team around, I see that and I don't immediately see it because it's as ubiquitous to me as a stop sign in Northeastern Ohio. It's everywhere. It's in every liquor store. It's in every, you know what I mean? It's just it's all over the place. So to me, that's what's insidious about it is that it starts to lose that. And that's why we got to get rid of those things. Cause you can't actually see it, but the history of that thing, there's and actually I think the first or second episode I did of my podcast, actually goes through the real history of this, which is people are oh, it's a player. And it has nothing to do with any actual history of any native players of anybody whatsoever. There was a guy, a cartoonist for the Cleveland Plain Dealer who drew it. and put it in the corner of like, you know, like in newspapers, how they just have the scores like in the old days before we had all this other stuff. And he just drew it and people liked it. And so it grew and grew and grew. And then it became the team's logo in the 40s.
Wow.
That was it. Like kids liked it. So they were like, ooh, we can make money off of this. That's literally all that it is. It has nothing to do with any, because they did have, you know, indigenous native players at one time.
See,
but it has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with them.
This artist, this proves one-hit wonders could be bad.
I mean, yeah. In the realm of racist caricatures, absolutely, Kevin. Absolutely.
It's a hit.
It was a hit. Yeah.
I remember somewhere Rhea in stand-up is like, well, people in Ohio saying, you know, Native Americans in Ohio aren't complaining. It's like, well, guess why not?
I wonder why that is. I wonder why. How many Native American buddies do you have?
Right. Oh, man. Your Akron is so close to Kent State, right?
Oh, so close. Yeah.
Remember when that was a thing? Remember when that was fucking insane?
Which thing?
Right. Kent State, four kids getting killed. And,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, every day. That
was just the other day. The anniversary was just the other day, and it's almost like it's like that happens. That's like nothing now in 2021.
Yeah. What's the news I read today that they're stopping that Peloton treadmill because you know, a kid died under it. It's easy to pick up small things, but
like a child, easy to pick up small things. You know, like a child or a dog or you know, a shoe.
Guns. Well, but what are we gonna do about guns? You know.
Well, yeah.
You know, Thomas Jefferson didn't say nothing about the Peloton.
Absolutely not. No, get the Peloton out of here. We can't have any kids dying on a Peloton, but guns, I mean, look, we got to have them. I got to have a high capacity Bushmaster to protect my home, my 600 square foot apartment. Because that's what we're talking about.
The Peloton is the bike thing that
they're known for the bike thing. They also have a treadmill.
Oh, okay. And so the treadmill sort of scooped up the kid under sort of like a cartoon. It like raises.
Yes, it should be. It should have like a bottom that stops that, but a kid can be pulled under.
And they just didn't think about it. Did you guys know that the concept of the treadmill was actually introduced as a torture device?
Really?
Oh, Rhea, don't make it worse.
I'm going to tell my girlfriend who runs a gym. I'm going to tell her that. Let me write that down.
It's true though.
How about regular free weights? Probably also, right?
Oh yeah, definitely 100%. Yeah, 10-pound weights, torture device.
How did it work as a torture device? What would they do?
Putting people, you know, forcing people to like march on them, you know.
Oh,
but then you could, because like that's a method of torture is marching people, you know.
And if you can't march, you fall down, look like an asshole, and then they'd show the video to your friends.
Yeah, and then
you don't want to do that.
Pull your children under that. You don't want to do that at all. You don't want to go viral for that reason.
Keith, were you picturing when Rhea said it was used as torture devices? Were you picturing that they would just make it go faster and faster until you get pulled under the thing?
Yeah. Now you're going level 7. It's like, I told you I had bad knees. They're like, we know. You don't belong.
That's why you're here. Yeah. Right. We got to get these bad knees out of here.
In your stand-up, you reference being a hillbilly. Would you say that?
Yep. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at I got overalls on just for the point.
I have, and that's to dress up classy. I'm from Somerset, Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh, definitely the country. I feel like based on movies, I'm not hillbilly, but I'm one step, not to say above, one step different. But I love hillbilly-like movies. I don't know if you do, but like Hillbilly Elegy, The Devil All the Time. I'm watching that new Justin Timberlake movie, Palmer. There's something about it that I don't know. I mean, I will tell you, I didn't watch Hillbilly Elegy because first of all, Glenn Close looks exactly like my grandmother, and I'm not ready to do it. Like, I don't know how they did the glasses, the hair, the sweater, everything. Right. It's too nailed. I just couldn't do Hillbilly Elegy, but I didn't see Palmer either. I mean, there's something about it, you know, like I don't know. It's just like, I feel at home. I do feel at home. I feel like, and I got over ranch dressing, but there's some about these movies that I do.
I can't get, I can't get off that ranch dressing, man. I've tried everything. See if Lucy's got something for me to get off the ranch dressing.
All right. So when you're from like a town like that, when you meet a woman and you find out that they're gay, are you guys a couple immediately? Because you can't help it. Those are the rules. Like,
I mean,
we're dating now.
Back in Akron, Ohio in 2005, 100%. Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was like, oh, you're gay? Great, let's do this. There ain't nobody else around. But I mean, these days in California, it's a little bit easier, I guess. But yeah, for sure.
And then on top of that, being vegetarian.
Oh, yeah.
You got a whole bunch of things happening that you got to do with these town folk.
It was... Yeah, I mean, in the 80s too, people really did not understand. They really just like, and I feel like people are like, come on, like who cares? But like people really, really, really did not understand. Like, oh, you never eat, like never, like you don't eat chicken. You know, like that's what people are like. Yeah, but you eat chicken, right? And I'm like, no, like I don't eat animals.
I remember being vegetarian for a very short time in my 20s, and it was like a year and a half of being vegetarian. I wanted to try and see what it was like, and then it turns out it was really good. I don't know. I lost my taste for meat, all of this stuff, but I remember at that time I was traveling a lot for music, and nobody knew what a vegetarian was. I remember only in LA would I be able to get one kind of vegetarian burger, and it was shit. And it was the only place that allowed you to get a different kind of coffee too. Like, can I get it blended with skim milk and whatever? Like, it was the only, and they didn't look at you funny. They weren't like, who's this weirdo? But the rest of the country was spaghetti and sauce. That's how you were vegetarian. It was just,
I ate a lot of French fries, you know, I would have French fries for dinner and stuff like that. And I'm raised vegetarian. I've never not been a vegetarian. So I just like, that's my context, you know?
Right. But you know, these restaurants, mac and cheese is the vegetable.
Right.
Oh yeah. To explain anything to them.
Mashed potatoes is the vegetable. I went to, so my favorite is people inviting me to dinner, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm a vegetarian. They're like, oh, well, the steakhouse has salad. And then you go and it's like basically just like, one time I got a wedge of lettuce and I was like, you guys really don't understand. This is not a meal. Like it's a side to what you're eating and you don't even eat this part.
Right.
And also you cut a wedge of lettuce. You're being rude now.
Yeah, you're being super rude. Like you guys didn't even do it. You didn't even tear it apart for me. You just gave it to me pretty much in its final form.
Yeah, you should have given it to me on a block with like a bigger knife so I can chop it up for myself at the table.
Look, I know I'm dressed like a farmer, but I don't need to be, presented with food that looks like a farm.
I know in the Rhea stand-up, they were saying how one day they're eating a salad and they're like, this is so fucking good. I think I'm high. Why is this the best salad I ever had? Oh, surprise, bacon bits.
Oh, there's some bacon bits in here. Whoopsie.
Was it Xerxes knew somebody that was vegetarian? Then because the person was pregnant, they were told you have to have protein. Your body's not working out otherwise. And then she started like proselytizing meat. Like, do you guys know about this? Fucking meat?
Yeah,
it's
you guys heard about this shit.
It's fantastic. No, have you gone back to Akron? I went back to my hometown, and I feel like I get this look like, you're not welcome. I used to feel like at 18, I'm running the town. And now they look at me chewing their mustache like it's gum. Like, you've been certified. Fuck you. Like, I just feel like I get this look sitting at, Eaton Park or wherever.
Sure. No, I mean, I've been back. The last time I was back was, I think, the fall of 2018. Well, no, that's not true. I actually went back right before the pandemic. I played the College of Worcester. They had me come out last minute. It was really fun. It was in a basement, and their improv team opened for me, and it was really, really wonderful. It was really adorable and cute. The name of their improv team was called Don't Throw Shoes. And I was like, you guys probably don't even know that this is a George W. Bush reference. Right. You're too young. You probably weren't even born yet. But it was a really, really, really fun show. I got to meet really cool people. And I went back to Akron just briefly that weekend. And it's very funny because there is literally a band, not a one-hit wonder, Gemma, but one of their biggest hits is, at least in Akron, Ohio, is My City by the Pretenders. And it is literally about going back to your hometown and having it be completely different and feel completely different. And my experience of that song has grown and changed. And I feel like that time when I went back, I was like, oh shit. Cause the people may not be chewing their mustaches, but they have changed the landscape so much. Like the mall, one of the malls that I grew up in is now an Amazon warehouse. And that is a hell of a thing to go like, wait, what? This rundown mall, which is actually got really famous in its late in life for snowing on the inside. It made the rounds on Facebook. I don't know if you guys saw that a couple years ago, but like it got really famous for that reason. And then they tore it down and turned it into an Amazon warehouse. And that just feels like a real.
What does that mean? Snowing inside?
Well, like it had these big skylights and like the snow was getting inside. And then also it was creating like its own weather climate in there because there was no climate control. Right. So like it's this huge building and condensation is building up and stuff. And so like it would like rain on the inside of the mall just by itself.
No, I went, me and Hemda went, when we were together, we went to my high school reunion and I was like, well, I'm only coming back for family now because I didn't realize how close-minded and stupid this whole thing is. And when I say close-minded, this whole town, when I say close-minded, I mean, we had the family reunion, Hemda's with me, then people go to a local bar.
The school reunion.
High school reunion. As we happened to be walking in, Michelle Woy, who happened to be the class president at the time, a real muckety muck, she goes, do you know Keith's girlfriend is a Jew?
Whoa.
Yeah. As I walk in and I see her face, she's like, oh, yeah. You don't know how to get out of the situation. And I'm like, okay. And then we went in anyway, but I was like, that's the last time we're ever going to be here if it's not family.
I forgot about that. There was another Jew comment too. Apparently it was going around like, hey, there's a Jew in town. And I'm like,
oh my God,
I'm an atheist, you asshole.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But what's funny is also, I don't know if we told them I was Jewish. They just looked at my face.
But I mean, how would I have said, this is my girlfriend, Henda, Jew, but you'll like her.
Yeah. I mean, usually you stand up on the bar and you go, I've brought a Jew to town. Like usually that's what people want to hear.
Do not be alarmed.
Right.
Do not be alarmed. She's very nice.
Like you thinking you have to say something ahead of time to somebody about your gender or something like this.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm Jewish, just to calm you down. Yeah.
I just walk down the street going like, they them, leave me alone.
Right.
Leave me alone.
At what age do you, or what happens when you decide, hey, I am going to go by they, them?
I mean, the they, them decision is like, just to me, like sort of secondary. It was just like, oh, I didn't know that was like a possibility. I saw other people doing it. I was like, oh, that feels right.
Right.
But the gender stuff, like it's always been there, it's not like it hasn't, it's not like and this has been some people's experience. So I'm not saying this isn't an experience, but my experience was just that, like, I was, a kid, I was like 4, living my life, and people started telling me I was a girl. And I was like, I mean, okay, all right. And then I would do things like, play sports or cross my legs a certain way or walk a certain way or like literally do anything. And they'd be like, oh, girls don't do that. And I was like, but you said I was a girl. So wait, who's wrong here? Like who's the one that's like misinterpret like that? I didn't say I was that. Like, and now you're telling me that's wrong. And then I'd be like, okay, so I'm a boy. And then they'd be like, no, you're not. No. That's not what we, no. What I want is for you to be different than what I already said you were. And so if you could just change yourself and be a different thing, but also we're not going to change the language though, so it's just kind of like, for me, it's been coming back to that moment before somebody told me what I was, and just going like, and because here's the thing, like my experience of my life, like I walk down the street, I could interact with 10 people and all 10 people see me differently, in different shades of different things. Some people see me as, like perceive that I'm a woman. Some people perceive that I'm a man. Some people don't care. Some people this, that, whatever. And so for me, it's like always just coming back to what feels right for me, and it's a every day it gets to be a new adventure, And so for me, I'm a trans non-binary person. I use they, them pronouns. I'm like open to he pronouns. And a little bit right now, it's like, sometimes I identify more as what I'm not rather than what I am, just because I'm like understanding on a daily basis, like what I am and what I can be, Do
you like,
so it's
do you
not
like
defined.
do you like having people guess or be confused because it's their hang up, or would you rather there wasn't any problem?
I mean, some days I'm like, this is super fun. And some days I'm like, could everybody just shut the hell up? So, it's a case by case basis. But for me, it's like welcoming that like, oh yeah, I can't, because that's the thing. I can make all the statements. I can make it defined. I can do all this stuff. And I'm going to walk by somebody and be like, oh, have a great day. And they're going to be like, you too, lady. Like I can do all the things. Do all the things, and that's still going to happen. And so it's really just like what feels fun for me, and sometimes that's like reminding people all the time, like they, them, they. Right. But the fun thing is when other people start helping, when I learned to ask for help is when it really opened up, because I was like, oh, I don't have to do it all the time. Like other people will help and be like, and I'm just like, oh, great. I don't have to do this,
Rhea's mentioned when people say ladies and gentlemen, I'm still included.
Yeah, I'm still in there. Cause like we talk about too, like, people who live outside the binary. And like, for me, that's more a language thing. Cause I am living in it every day. We're all living in it in different amounts, so it's like, I'm right in there. I'm not outside of anybody's thinking. I'm not outside of anybody's experience. Like we're all right in each other's experiences. And like, that's where it's at for me, which is why, it's the and ladies and gentlemen, it's like, sometimes it's shifting around. It's great.
Are your parents still around?
Yeah, my parents are still around.
Wow. Oof, what a risk.
What can you say nowadays?
Are your parents dead, or are they still kicking?
Did you have to, speaking of Kathy coming out, did you say to them, they, them, and do they have, the brain power to be like, I'm taking it in instead of going, what?
Sure. Well, I have that relationship with one of them, and I don't have that relationship with the other one. So the other one has yet to be sort of, that adventure is just kind of where it's at. Cause it's like, I
can't even guess which one, by the way, but okay.
Yeah.
I can't even
You've
guess.
heard the albums. I don't need to put it on here. If anybody wants to figure it out, they can listen to my albums, but I like to keep it, we'll just keep it where it's at. And like, it's every conversation's an opportunity, like that person saying like, I came out to my mom and her only hang up was like, oh, I wish I would have. And it's like, I get that. I totally get that. But you start today of like, cool. Okay. You didn't feel comfortable. So I'm going to investigate what I can do to now make you comfortable starting today, as opposed to like going back. Right. Cause I feel like parents, they want to go back and they want to like, what did I do? Right. And it's like, you did nothing. Let's just start right now.
It's so uncomfortable because when I think of what our parents would be grossed out by, because I think it is, I get that. That's, I can't do that. That's like so uncomfortable. It's picturing your children having sex or picturing your children's sex parts. Why are you doing that? Like, I feel like that's the projection out there. Like, oh, when are you going to have babies? All right, I'll be fucking tonight. Does that work for you?
Right.
I know. Yeah.
What's happening?
I'm sticking it in regularly, Pops, but her uterus is all fucked up.
What's your problem? Get out of my vagina.
It's wild because like it's, and I've had that experience with people. Like I share stuff, on social media to a certain extent, and people will be like, you share this so we can talk about it. It's like, dude, I'm just like, we're hanging out having coffee. Like I didn't. It's mine to bring up, you know what I mean? And even bringing up, like, I use they, them pronouns. It's like, that's it. That's the conversation. Like, okay, great. Like it has nothing to do with like, I didn't say anything about my body. You know what I mean? And like, I think it's funny that specifically parents are like, whoa, 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 whoa. And like, maybe because they experienced us and it's also, I don't have kids, so I have no idea what it must be like to bring a kid into the world and do that. Like, I really don't. So I try to have as much empathy for parents as possible to be like, whoa, I really was screaming and was really this big.
And also, one generation up, the gender roles were very, very specific and very, very defined. For my parents, for sure, they're also from the Middle East, so it's like super in them, and they expected me to be that. And the way I see it is, I have all this stuff that my parents don't like. My mother doesn't like. She, it's aggressive. Why are you speaking your mind like that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And then when I think about it, I'm like, wait, I'm just like your husband, my father. I'm just like him. Holy shit, if I was a boy, you'd think I was so great. Wow. And then my brother got the opposite. He's he didn't want to go out as much as I did. He wasn't as, I don't want to call it aggressive, but as loud,
extroverted or outgoing.
And so he was
confident.
Well, I mean, he was confident in his stuff. He was interested in different things. He wanted to read. I wanted to go outside and run around and be as physical as possible. And
he was an aggressive reader.
Yeah.
He's really turning the fuck out of those pages.
But my dad would be like, oh, why are you reading on vacation? Like, that's kind of a pussy thing to do. And I realized if he was female, they'd be so happy. Oh, he doesn't want to go out dancing on a Saturday night. Like, he just wants to, be chill and like nice.
Right. I love, I'll just shorten it real quick if you don't mind, but Rhea's story where she's talking to, it happens to be a Lyft driver, and they're talking about you. I don't know. This person happened to be a Lyft driver, and started talking about, hey, I'm playing jazz music. Do you like jazz music, sir? And Rhea's like, oh, I'll let it go. Yeah, yes, I do. Oh, this and that, sir. And it's like, okay, whatever. Do you like Frank Sinatra, sir? Like, well, of course it's Frank Sinatra. Oh, you're a very good man, sir. And then at this point, Rhea's like, you know what? I am. Fuck.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I remember seeing my grandma, and she had Alzheimer's.
By the way, do you notice like how little you get credit for being a man? Like, this is what makes me a good man.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm like, oh yeah, punch that ticket. Hell yeah, absolutely, super. Let's do it. Why not? I'll take that. I'll take that. Why not? I am the beholder, man.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm talking to my grandma, and my mom's reintroducing the kids to her because she has some dementia. And then I was at least 18. I had one earring, longer hair. And my grandma says, oh, she's so pretty. And my mom goes, no, that's your son, Keith. He's a boy. And I go, who gives a shit? I'm pretty. I go, thank you. Thank you, Grandma. I'm beautiful. She goes, I didn't say beautiful. I said pretty.
I say, whoa, hold your horses, lady. Calm down.
Oh, thanks.
Calm down, Kathy Ireland. Let's slow down.
Right. When how old were you? Your parents are separated. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Divorced.
At what age?
I was super young. I mean, I have like a joke about it, of like months old or whatever, but it was like within the first year of my birth.
So it was your fault.
Right. It was 100%. I did it. I was the tiebreaker.
I get it because I had a puppy, and it definitely ruined my sex life at the time.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm that puppy, man. I did it. They were like, nope, never mind.
Does it knowingly or maybe not at all? Did that affect relationships, or you're too young? You wouldn't even have a frame of reference.
Yeah, I mean, I think it did and it didn't. I mean, because I didn't have a frame of reference for like relationships either, which I think I've spent time in my life trying to understand like how healthy relationships work. Right. Just because like,
did you find out?
Did I find out
how
to do a healthy relationship?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm working on it. Like I've it's always what I've learned is, it's a work in progress. Like because I had this whole idea that like you do XYZ and then it's like it works and then you don't have to do anything anymore. And like this, it's not a pinball machine, you know, like you have to like keep showing up for the thing every day. And that was my main misunderstanding in life, is that like you don't just like because I have these like childhood friends or whatever, and it's like I thought, oh, you just have the same friends and you have the same you have the same everything. And like, yeah, it's not baseball card collecting. You got to keep experiencing, making mistakes and like learning how to do differently, and all kinds of stuff like that.
When Kemda and I broke up, we weren't ready to deal with telling the audience, because we're dealing with it, right? So we kept it. How long did we keep it a secret for? A year, Kemda?
At least
a year. And
it's
I love the courtroom delivery of that. At least
let the record show. Well, because it's so odd to think about and to say it again, like we didn't tell people for an entire year is it sounds psychotic. It sounds so unhealthy and like
but I disagree.
A double life.
I think it is weird that it's a double life. People took it as a lie when they found out, but you're dealing with it yourself. The net, you've been in breakups. The next thing you know, your job is to console them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then people would get mad, like, well, I can't listen to your show anymore. I can tell it's different. It's like, motherfucker, we tricked you. It's not different. You've been loving it the last year. You've been listening
for like a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Did that kind of thing happen to you? You were in a public a couple, married for 4 years, Cameron Esposito. You're doing shows, you're doing stand-up together. Were people mad? Like, you're the most progressive things out there. What the fuck? Did that happen or not?
I mean, I feel like if anybody, I mean, I definitely got like a whiff of that sentiment on the internet. I'll say that I did I'll speak for myself and just say that I did some good things, which is I tried to stay away from that as much as possible. Like I didn't pull the thread and I didn't go towards any of that, because you actually can do that on the internet. It has proven to me you actually can like sort of protect yourself from things, and you can just keep moving. And, I feel like people were like, oh, this has completely shattered my concept of whatever, of everything. Right. And it's like, I get that. I see you. That's your experience. But like, we got to believe in something bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like you're saying, it's like we tricked you. And it's like, the ability to keep going, like, I guess what the experience gave me is a lot of empathy for people in the public eye at a way higher level than I have been or maybe ever will. Right. That like, I just have a lot of empathy for people that really get hounded for that, because it's painful. Breakups are painful, like regardless, no matter how good or whatever it goes, like how it's a painful thing, and it's hard to experience that publicly. And I just like kind of stayed in my own sort of lane with it, in terms of like people and everything. And a little bit of it showed up on my, by Three Swings, my baseball podcast a little bit. And like, I just really cultivated a relationship with myself. I'm like, what do I want to share about this? And what is personal? Right. I got to kind of dig into that a little bit.
It kind of makes me think of that. Do you remember that book, A Million Little Pieces? And the guy quit drugs. Then you find out
James Fry, right?
James
Was that
Fry.
Guy's name? And like, look, this goes back to your theory. Like this guy, you're gonna tell the story, but like, why do I remember that? Like that is not valuable information other than for in this exact conversation. Right. So I guess it does have a lot of value.
But it sounds like a book that got people off of drugs. It seemed very open and honest. Cut to, he made it all up. And people are upset. And they're like, well, I'm going back on drugs. If you're fucking lying to me, it's like, oh, you were reaching for something. Who gives a fuck if you made it up? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, here, that's the thing. Like, you cannot make anybody do anything. I cannot make anybody do anything whatsoever. And so like, I can only do what feels right for me. And like, yeah, that book maybe got some people off drugs who stayed off drugs. And so great job. Like there truly is always a silver lining or a positive to everything, just like there's a negative to everything. Like nothing, matter is neither created or destroyed. Like it's a closed system and it's always happening. Like, the butterfly's wings are flapping and the window is opening. Like it's always, there's always enough. That's the thing. There's always enough for everybody.
Right.
It's so interesting. The second episode of Philosophically Speaking, which I'm doing with Mike Kaplan, it's available for Keith and the Girl VIP people. It's coming out tomorrow. We just recorded it, and it's about how no one can make us do anything. And it's like, well, can they? Well, what about this? What about manipulation? What about gaslighting? What about abuse? Like all that stuff. So we talked about it for like 45 minutes, and it's just an interesting. I can't make you do anything.
No,
but
have you ever read the 4 Agreements, Kemda?
Yes. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Nothing. I cannot take anything personal because nobody all that stuff. I still have a choice today.
The 4 Agreements, by the way, is one of the books that comes up a lot for people who read about anything remotely close to that topic. And if anyone's looking for a book recommendation, I know I've said the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem is like my ultimate one for that. But the 4 Agreements, I've never read a book faster. It's such an easy read, and it sums up the same thing that all the rest of them do. So any one of those books, but the 4 Agreements seems to be an easy one. Also, this reminds me of, I saw this documentary. This guy grew a beard. He's Indian. He grew a beard. He grew his hair. He made himself look, quote, like a guru. And he went around introducing himself as a guru, and he made up sort of like a religion-esque sort of following. People were enlightened, so to speak, and they were now true followers of this guy. I think he even made up some yoga moves, stuff like that. And then he came out to them at the end, like, this was an experiment. If I call myself a guru, would you believe it? Especially since I look like this and all this stuff. And some people were so angry with him. I believed this was coming from me. He made a fool out of me. The vulnerability started coming out in a negative way. And some people were like, you know what? He still did what he did. Like, I still felt that. I still got what he said he was going to give me, even though he was faking it. I still got it. So is this an asshole because you are faking it and you're fucking with people's, emotions, but you're also helping them work out their emotions. So it is that kind of like the same thing that comes out. Different people can have different responses to it. So he is not making anyone do it, because if he was making anyone do it, the entire response would be unanimous. Right?
Yeah.
All I'm hearing is no one can make me get on the treadmill. It's dry, sweetheart. You pointed to the butter lettuce. Doesn't mean I need to purchase it.
Yeah. You can take a horse to a treadmill, but you cannot make him get on it. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You can make him get under it, though, apparently.
You can pull him right under the belt.
And that's against my will, and that's a lawsuit. I feel like, am I right? Is your voice deeper than it was even on your recent album that was recorded a year or so ago?
Oh, yeah, it's 100%.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, Rhea. Yes.
Yeah. Am I wrong? Is your voice deeper?
You know what it is? What's funny is we've been doing this for 16 years, and anyone who listens to the first couple or few years, my voice was higher because I believe I was at a more people-pleasing tone.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And off. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Is it extra testosterone?
Yes, it is. Rhea, again, sorry.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Yeah.
How do you take it?
You mean like with a Coke back or what?
Yeah. Is it a needle? Do you drink it? I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you lick sweat.
I don't know what you do.
Yeah. There's only 2 ways to take it. You can do like a patch gel thing, or you can do injections. So I do injections.
Okay. And you're getting facial hair and chest hair and all this stuff, or not?
Yes, I am. God damn it.
You're in there. Yeah. Me and Kemda are on the same path. It's cool. That. It's cool to be on this journey with you.
Just that's her, right?
I removed mine, but keep yours if you like.
Now, sure, what made you decide that?
It just, it felt like a good next step, and like testosterone is like something you can try and see what's up with it, and it just felt like I spoke with some friends, like close people who started taking it, and they shared their experience with me, and it felt, I felt, something in that, I felt like I saw myself in what they were sharing. So I was like, oh, this sounds like something that might be a right next step for me. And then it turns out, I did have like a lot of fear around unknown, which is like a pretty typical human thing. I was like, oh, I don't want this and I don't want that. I know I don't want these things. And I realized that was keeping me from moving towards possibility. Like I wasn't looking at what could be possible. I was looking at what might happen that I didn't want. I was like only looking at the negative, as opposed to like, oh, maybe this could be a good thing. Maybe I enjoy this. And it turns out like that I do. So it's been pretty cool.
Kenda, what did they just say? I'm a little confused.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you mean by like what's possible? Like
Oh, because you know what? I'm not going to speak for you. Rhea. No, I think.
Well, I mean, I'm curious what your interpretation is, Kenda.
Well, I think when you think of the idea of changing your body, it's a big notion, especially when you include needles on a regular basis. So you might start thinking about the negative outcomes of either injecting yourself or hormones. And there's a lot of like, this bad thing could happen, this bad thing could happen. So you're completely disregarding. Those might be the side effects that might happen. But what I'm looking for is the positive effects, which seems like they would match what I feel like, right?
Is that correct,
positive
Rhea?
stuff that
it's along those lines. It's along those lines. I think I was just like I was living in more fear around it than I was around possibility and like openness in my life. Like I'm not taking it to get any particular result. Like I don't have like a list of things that I'm like, oh, I want all of this. And once I let go of the list of all the things I didn't want, then it just was like, oh, this is just an experience, and it feels right for me. I can't, right. I personally can't get super specific and say like, well, I wanted this to happen with all of it. And I wouldn't even say that like, I necessarily was like, I need to change my body. I was just like, oh, this experience feels in alignment with the journey that I'm on, and I can, if I wanted to, I can stop whenever I want. I'm not, it's a commitment that I make on like a weekly basis, and I get,
I see. Like it goes away. If you don't stay on top of it,
it
goes away.
It doesn't revert, I'm not going to like go back. Like if I look at pictures of myself, I've been taking it for almost a year, but if I look at myself or listen to myself from a year ago, like there's very distinct physical changes. Like my face looks different. I have facial hair, like my voice sounds different. And so if I stopped, I'm not going to like, it's not going to rewind the clock and like, go back to something, because these changes have been turned on, but it won't progress anymore. So it'll just like stop. So if I wanted to, I can. And so far I don't want to. And I'm like here for the ride, here for the journey, right. Here for the path.
Is it exciting to shave more? Because I hate it.
Well, I mean, I guess, it's exciting for me to like embrace facial hair, because I had facial hair, right. Like I had chin hairs and stuff, and I would immediately take them out of my face. And so right. It's been interesting to be like, oh no, what's up? These guys, hello. But it's just like small changes, that it's like, oh, my body is lining up a little bit more with my interior life,
Okay. Speaking of relationships, how is it going now? And how was it during the pandemic? Is that good, bad, indifferent?
Oh, it's been good. And, it's been difficult because it's like, I think this thing has been difficult and good. Silver linings all over the place. Also tons of gratitude, super grateful to still be alive and not gotten sick. And no one in my like immediate circle has gotten sick or passed away from it. So I'm super grateful, to be here and talking to you guys, but I am in a relationship now, and it's really wonderful. And we've spent the pandemic in a 600 square foot apartment. Yeah. Like, luckily we have a lot of outdoor space. So that's great. Like there's nature and room to grow around our apartment, but yeah, I'm very grateful.
Kenda does, of course, OMAT Club, the 1 minute at a time thing. Take a look at keithandgirl.com/OMAT. I love it. She does 1 minute exercise, total of 8. We talk a little bit, total of 15 minutes. What I started doing it happened to be 3 p.m. I'm like, let me just write down like everything I do. Like, even if I happen to be playing a video game with my friends, I wrote that down. Work that I did, I wrote that down. Going to the store, I wrote that down. Next thing I know, over 24 hours, including the sleep time, I'm like, okay, not a bad life.
Yeah.
And and it really changed the way I look at things.
Oh yeah, gratitude lists are like key, or just
and it was
lists
just regular
of,
shit. Like I put pine nuts in my salad. I'm like, that's pretty good that I can buy pine nuts.
Yeah, it's just the regular. Sometimes I got to get so regular. I got to be like, oh man, I slept in a bed.
Yeah.
Like I have a roof over my head, and not to punish myself and be like, so you better be. It's like literally just like, thank you for the roof over my head. Holy shit, I got to sleep in a warm bed last night.
When the internet turns off for like an hour, don't you realize how amazing it is that we have
really grateful for that internet?
Yeah. Right. Like it's almost like we should, secretly turn it off in our house for like an hour. So when it comes, see, he agrees.
Yeah. And then
so that when it comes back up, you have this huge gratitude. By the way, Keith is bringing up OMAC Club because one of the exercises is 1 minute of gratitude. It's just that simple.
I did 24 hours and it's pretty sweet. Not to brag, but I wonder if I have the most in the world.
I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Now you can write down, you have a dog. Here's a little article that I saw today. Speaking of relationships, a TikTok user who went viral yesterday for posting a private FaceTime call with Matthew Perry says she released the video to expose how older men in Hollywood are, quote, taking advantage of younger women on dating apps. Let me know what you think. A lot of people were saying I'm a bully, she says, and mean for posting this, and it made me feel kind of bad. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of guys in Hollywood are taking all these young girls, and it's something that I think, talking to all these young girls, and it's something that I think a lot of people need to be aware of. Kate Harrelson, 20, she was 19 at the time, said Matthew Perry, now 51, kept trying, reached out to her and then tried to FaceTime her and make it romantic. He even asked, am I the same age as your dad? Ha 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 ha. And she's like, actually, you're a year older.
So what did she post about?
She posted a private, what you assumed was private FaceTime call where he's hitting on her.
Did you
the
hear
age difference is 30 years. Nah.
Was it an actual conversation that she posted?
That's what I understand. Yeah.
It's so weird. It is private. But at the same time, is it?
That's the thing though, Femda, like you, I think ultimately, like, look, I used to, a couple of years ago when I first got into acting, I was like, oh shit, I have a wire on, and I was like, oh, I need to like watch what I'm saying right now, and like, I can be like, oh, wow, I was a dick. Or I could be like, wow, this was a great moment for me to realize like, oh, I could act like this all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and so there's like, you could assume things are private.
Okay, we'll take it. By the way, an hour in, Rhea is now going to take the dog into another room. Okay.
There's no other room.
No, it's 600 square feet. There's no other room. It's just like, this is it. I mean, you could assume things are private or you could assume they're not and be like,
right.
How would I talk to a 19-year-old if we were in public?
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
That's kind of the job. Like, honestly. And I mean,
no, I guess it's just, I'm talking about, let's say they were, and I know it's not now a made up scenario is almost stupid to bring up because I'm asking you to defend a made up scenario. I'm talking about where does the privacy start? So if he was 40 and she was 35 and she posted it, does there have to be something wrong in order to make it not private? And then and then who is the moral police that, like decides this one we post? Because, and I hate to say it, technically he didn't do anything wrong.
Sure, but
I mean,
it's
we're playing the moral police. So like the only people that it matters to is her and him. That's it. You know what I mean? And like, here's the thing. If I can only like, I can't make anybody do anything. I can't make Chandler Bing do anything differently.
Chandler Bong, thank you.
Ms. Chandler Bong.
Oh, right.
Ms. I'm sorry, it was Ms. Chandler Bong. That might be the only thing I remember from Friends. That and Pivot. Those are my two jokes because they're great jokes. You remember the good ones, you know? But like, that's, I don't know. I just carry myself in a way that if somebody, you know, put screenshots of what I was doing, I would stand behind it, you know? If he stands behind that behavior, then there's no problem. You know, it's just, it's like if people are talking about you, they're going to do it anyway. We have this world now where like there's a whole channel for people to talk about you in an even more public way. If he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't do anything wrong.
No, but what about vulnerable conversations that are just private just because I don't share all of my life with everybody. Sure. I share this part with you. Mm-hmm. And then I mean, for the sensation of, oh my God, this is but I'm making it up. Stop it.
Like
but that's not, I don't do it because he's not being vulnerable. I mean, I don't know what he's being, but that's not vulnerable. I mean, maybe it is, but like, again, that got shared and like, he gets to stand up, he gets to stand in his truth. And like, if he feels okay with what he did, then that's it. You know, she doesn't like it. She's exposing it. Everybody, it's not actually private is the thing. Like we have this, you know, this semblance of privacy and stuff. And it's like, it's just not there. So you just get to stand behind like your own behavior, you know?
When I referenced butter lettuce, I was alluding to the conversation yesterday about, I told my girlfriend, I'll make us hamburgers if you're into it. She said, yeah. Together we're at the grocery store and she's picking out the lettuce. We're talking about tomatoes. I make her burgers. She's like, oh, I can't eat it. Lettuce touched it. I'm like, you even picked out the lettuce. So, you know, that went on for a bit. But on Reddit, we put up the poll. Let's see. This is episode 3403. With full patience with Casey James Salengo. Can you relate to Keith and Kyle's food situation? I knew it'd be funny, but I didn't know it'd be so relatable. And more yeses than nos.
So she just doesn't like lettuce? Is that I'm missing? I don't know. I don't get it.
It went on for a bit, but
may I?
Yes.
There have been many instances where his girlfriend will request or buy alongside with him. It'll be her idea, the vegetables, we've had a broccoli rabe incident. We've had hummus and carrots and celery. All of these remain in his fridge, even though she's the one opting in on it. And then it never gets eaten.
It gets tossed.
Yeah, it's a little confusing to him. I don't understand why you insisted on buying the butter lettuce. I would have bought this rinky-dinky, lesser expensive lettuce. So it seems like you like this, and then you wanted me to throw away your burger because the lettuce was on it. So that's the confusing part.
So I want to make sure, am I dating a psychopath? Can the audience relate? You know, I don't know. So this person, Wazowski, wrote, very entertaining to listen to. I get it. Makes for fun talk, but you got to be able to laugh at stuff and not let it actually drive you nuts. Well, you didn't read my diary. You know, I don't want to brag. I know what I'm doing. We all have, quote, stuff. And I wrote, oh, shit, what the fuck do you got? And then they wrote back, if I don't run almost every day, I'm a mess and terrible to be around. It's the only thing that keeps me sane and a reasonable human to be around. To keep myself motivated, I have been doing ultra marathons. I have a 24-hour race coming up in a little over a week. This is my crazy. My girlfriend has that problem too. In fact, anyone I've ever dated is a motivator and a go-getter. And I'm telling you what, if this doesn't work out, God forbid, my next girlfriend's going to be big, not go-get-em slob. Enough is enough. Just a big, every date's going to be on her couch.
Just a NASCAR fan, just a real sit and watch.
Yeah.
You know what? We make fun of Keith all the time because this is what like really riles him up. And that's because has such a good life. It's like, my girlfriend, what's with lettuce? Ah! And we're like, let's put a poll up because you need to be related to.
My gratitude is like, too much lettuce. Yay. Everyone has their thing. I know. I just don't get it. It's weird that it's innocuous. That's what makes it crazier.
Sure. Me. Yeah.
It's not important. Like if you were fucking my friends, I know where I stand, but what is this?
Yeah.
Ooh, you know what I mean? But hey, what can I tell you? It's a pandemic. We're all going nuts.
Let us give thanks. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Oh.
Hey, still got it.
Rhea, you want to download Rhea's podcast? I'm telling Rhea as if they don't know, but you,
Yep,
the
yep,
listener,
I'll get
you
on
want to
that.
download it.
I'll get on that game.
It's called Three Swings, and sometimes, if I may be so bold, they're going through a time, and that's what I find very enjoyable, and so I think you'll enjoy that. The albums you want to download, I mentioned them. They are Butcher and Pull Yourself Up by Your Bootleg. They're both fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anything else people need to know? You let me know.
No, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. I'm also on this show called Good Trouble. That's really great. I'm like a little guest sort of thing. And it's a great, fun show. Definitely like a good pandemic watch. It's a really great thing to be a part of. So check that out. I'm on Good Trouble. It's on Freeform and then on Hulu the next day.
There you go. Cool. It was very nice meeting you. This was great.
Yeah, it was Grace, nice meeting you too. I don't know what that means. Great to meet you all. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great. Now we got to start over. Ladies and gentlemen.
And?
The and was in there. Yeah.
That's me.